Hello everybody, welcome back to Simply Keto. I'm Mark Fleetwood, and today we're going to be talking about my top 5 favorite keto veggies and how to prepare them. And I'm going to be quite honest with you, this is my top 5 favorite regardless of diet, regardless of keto, any diet you're doing. These are 5 fantastic vegetables that you should have in your diet, you should have in your meal plans every day. Let's get started with number 5. What do we have for number 5? Baby leaf spinach. So, baby spinach, I love. There's tons and tons of vitamin A in baby spinach, and only 1.5 grams of carbohydrates per cup. Now, remember, spinach, 1 cup raw, will cook down to a very easily eaten amount. It looks like there's a huge amount of spinach in 1 cup, but if you saute it or mix it in with some eggs, if you make scrambled eggs, it's not hard to eat a cup of spinach. It cooks down quite a bit. With that being said, it's versatile. You can make spinach with almost any meat. You can have sauteed spinach with chicken or beef or burgers. You can mix spinach in with your scrambled eggs, or you can have sauteed spinach with dippy eggs and bacon. I mix in baby spinach with my breakfast almost every day. It's just an easy way to add greens and add vitamins to a keto breakfast when you primarily eat bacon and eggs or sausage and eggs and things like that. However, there is one thing I want to mention, that most of the vegetables here we will be avoiding raw. And this is to optimize all nutrient intake. Most cruciferous vegetables have something called phytic acid. And it's all vegetables, legumes, grains, wheat products have phytic acid. And they're actually an anti-nutrient. Phytic acid binds to things like iron and calcium and different nutrients and makes them unabsorbable. Sauteing spinach and greens, cooking them reduces the phytic acid footprint by about 85%. And by all means, if you have to eat this raw, this is better raw, even with the phytic acid, than not having greens at all. But if you really want to optimize, you wouldn't eat this raw. All right, we'll go to number 4. Number 4 is asparagus, and asparagus might be my favorite tasting vegetable out of this whole bunch. It's just a great tasting vegetable. There's only 3 carbs per 6 spear serving, and these numbers on carbs are going to vary a little bit. If you have really big spears, you might have 4 carbs or 5 carbs, but regardless, it's a very low amount per serving size. Tons and tons of vitamin K. Vitamin K is vital in blood clotting, and is vital in bone density, bone strength. Very high in antioxidants, super antioxidant rich. High in something called flavonoids. I'll link an article to talk more about what flavonoids are, but essentially what they are, they help with high blood pressure. They help in anti-inflammatory and antiviral and anti-cancer properties. So super antioxidant rich, and they taste great sauteed in oil. That's my favorite way to cook them, or grilling them. I will grill them with steaks or with burgers. Again, not something I would eat raw. I don't know if asparagus is something typically people eat raw, to each their own, if they would normally, but again, typically I'm going to saute in some oil, either avocado oil or coconut oil, and saute them lightly. I don't like them to be super mushy, a little bit of crunch left to them, but just sauteed through. Go number 3. Arugula. Arugula, this one is just fun to say. Another one, only 3 grams of carb per cup, and 2 of which are dietary fiber. So I'm still going to say only 3 grams of carb, because some people take a net and some people take gross. I like to take carbs in the full gross because some people say dietary fiber, it's totally subtracted. Some people say cut it in half. I'll just say the total carb amount. So this is total carbs, this is not net carbs. Again, arugula, super nutrient rich, or super nutrient dense. And arugula and all the rest of the vegetables on this list are all cruciferous vegetables. They're all from the same family, but I'll get more into that. Tons of vitamin K, again, another one for bone strength, bone building, and blood clotting. And good clotting, not bad clots, not like clots that require medical attention, but just clotting, being able to stop bleeding, not having super thin blood where you get a little cut and you can't stop it from bleeding. Good clot, not bad clot. Just want to make sure that it is understood. Another one that reduces cancer risk, reduces diabetes risk. Again, super nutrient, super dense. And this one is okay raw. Arugula is one of the only vegetables that doesn't have high amounts of phosphoric or phytic acid, and it's great for salads. This is great for raw salads. I would use arugula for anything. In this salad picture here, minus the bread, I don't know, this is a stock picture, but the salad looked great. I don't know what the bread is. No bread on keto, but some diced tomatoes, olives, avocado, looks like some feta cheese in there. I mean, that looks like an amazing salad, an amazing keto salad. So, I mean, that's a good, right there, that could be a great recipe for the day. Diced avocado, some feta cheese, diced tomatoes, black olives, either black olives or Kalamata olives. Either way, olives are great for keto. So yeah, there's a great salad. A little bit of Primal Kitchen. Let's go with, let's say, Primal Kitchen, Italian dressing, and boom, you've got a great keto salad. So that's gonna be my recipe for the day. Keto Italian salad. Number 2, we're getting down to the last 2, the penultimate, broccoli. And I forgot to switch the picture. Luckily, everybody should know what broccoli looks like. I'm sorry, I forgot to switch the picture on there. 4 grams of carbs per cup. Tons and tons of vitamin C. Like 50% of the daily intake of vitamin C in a single cup of broccoli. Super high anti-inflammatory, and that's going to be key in all these cruciferous vegetables and key for the ketogenic diet. And I talked about this in the initial video, getting started on keto, is that the crux of this diet, one of the biggest parts of this diet, why people enjoy it and why once you're in ketosis and you start eating this diet, you feel so good, is because it's very anti-inflammatory. You get all that inflammation out of your body, and you feel much better. Broccoli also has about 7% of the daily needs in fiber. It helps prevent heart attack and strokes. There are studies that show that these vegetables help with reducing cardiovascular disease, cardio risk. And I'll link the studies in every one of these vegetables. I'll link studies and articles with breakdowns that I'm talking about here. 35 grams of calcium per cup of broccoli. Huge amounts of calcium. And these are things that people typically don't think you can get without milk or without fruits. Now, everybody thinks vitamin C, they think of an orange. You don't need fruits for vitamins. It's a common misconception, it's a common myth. You actually get more vitamin C from broccoli, or an equivalent amount, without the sugars that you get from an orange. Orange, you get the fructose and the sugar, and it doesn't negate the good, but it weakens it to the point where broccoli is just better. Vegetables are just flat out better. All right, guys, time for the number 1. Time for the number 1. And this number 1 is one of the Earth's most nutrient-dense foods. You guys probably know what it is. Kale. Kale is superfood. It is a legitimate superfood. Insane amounts of vitamins. I'm just going to read off the list of the daily percentage amounts of vitamins in kale. 206% of the daily recommended amount of vitamin A. 684% of the daily recommended amount of vitamin K. 134% of the daily recommended amount of vitamin C. 26% manganese. 6% of your daily amount of magnesium and 9% of your daily amount of potassium. Now the last two are super important. The last two are very important because magnesium and potassium are both electrolytes that we lose at the start of keto when we stop eating carbs and we start to urinate more frequently. We start to expel a lot of water from the body. We lose electrolytes. And I keep hearing more and more people talk about getting started with keto and getting the keto flu. The diet is more than just cutting carbs. It is more than just ingesting fat. You have to balance, and electrolytes are super important. So with that being said, kale will help you with that. If you take this kale and you saute it with a little bit of olive oil or a little bit of avocado oil with some pink Himalayan salt, you get a little bit more sodium, a little bit more potassium out of that, and you will not get the keto flu. You have to keep your electrolytes in balance. This is super versatile. Kale, I didn't like kale at all. I couldn't stand it. My wife once made kale chips with nutritional yeast, and I wanted to throw her out of my condo at the time because the smell of it made me sick. I digress with that. But kale is super versatile because it really absorbs the flavor of what you cook it in. So if you make bacon and you don't really like kale, throw some kale in that pan of bacon grease and saute it in the bacon grease, and you will get the flavor of the bacon mixed in with the kale. It doesn't hurt the nutrient levels. Saute it lightly. You want to have enough to where you cook down the phytic acid off, but you don't want to scorch the kale. Just a light saute. It'll just look wet. It'll just look wet, and you'll just know when it's ready. You can cook it, like I said, in the bacon grease. You can cook it in grease from a burger, from a cheeseburger, in beef grease. You can cook it in olive oil, coconut oil. You can season it however you want. It takes on flavors very well. Just don't eat it plain. I mean, you can eat it plain, but you don't have to. You can put garlic on it, salt, pepper. You can put different seasonings on it. You can cook it in different oils. There's a lot of way to eat this if you don't particularly like the way the kale tastes plain. And also raw, you have that bitter taste. A lot of these cruciferous vegetables have very bitter taste raw. That is a defense mechanism for the greens. They are bitter until that is cooked off. That is the anti-nutrients. That is the phytic acid. So guys, with this, that's the list. That is my top 5 vegetables. And again, I'm keto, and it's a keto channel, but you could take this top 5 list and put it into any diet, and it's going to be phenomenal. It is going to be, these are the best nutrient-dense greens and vegetables that you can eat. There are other great ones. There are other ones that I eat regularly. Green beans, I eat them regularly. They just didn't make my top 5. So with that being said, guys, I hope you enjoyed. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. Stay healthy, stay keto.